Under the moonlit silence of the Nile, a golden barge glides through the mist. The air is scented with rose petals, myrrh, and honey. On that barge sits a woman who could bend empires. With a whisper, her name was Cleopatra. Tonight, as the stars shimmer above Egypt's ancient sands, we'll drift back in time to discover how this single woman outsmarted the might of Rome itself. Cleopatra VII was born in 69 BCE into a dynasty known more for chaos than for crowns. The Ptolemies, Greek rulers of Egypt, fought their wars not with enemies, but with each other. Her palace halls echoed with betrayal and fear. So Cleopatra learned early that power was never given, only taken. She became a master of languages: Egyptian, Greek, Hebrew, Arabic, rare for a ruler of her line. She read philosophy, debated with priests, and charmed every scholar who entered her court. When her father died, she was crowned queen, but forced to share the throne with her younger brother Ptolemy XIII. Soon, whispers turned to war, and the Queen of Egypt was exiled from her own kingdom. Exiled but unbroken, Cleopatra waited, watching the tides of fate shift, and then destiny sailed into Alexandria. Julius Caesar, the most powerful man in the world, had arrived chasing his rival Pompey. Cleopatra saw her opening one moonless night. She slipped past enemy guards, rolled inside a carpet, and smuggled herself into Caesar's private chambers. When the carpet unfurled, there she was, radiant, fearless, eyes sharp as daggers. Caesar was captivated. He helped her reclaim the throne, and together they ruled Egypt for a time, a strange alliance of politics and passion. She gave him a son, Caesarion, a child that symbolized the union of East and West. But in Rome, whispers began. The queen has bewitched Caesar. Power never sleeps easily. When Caesar was assassinated, Cleopatra's world collapsed again. But she didn't run, she waited. Two men rose to fill the void: Mark Antony and Octavian Antony, the soldier, brave, impulsive, drawn to grandeur. Octavian, cold, strategic, and patient. Cleopatra knew which one she could sway. Antony summoned her to Tarsus. She arrived not as a queen, but as the goddess Isis herself, on a golden barge, sails of purple, servants fanning her with peacock feathers. Antony was spellbound. What began as alliance became love, or perhaps the most dangerous kind of illusion. Together they dreamed of an empire shared, Rome and Egypt united. But dreams that big always wake someone else. Octavian struck first. The Battle of Actium became their downfall. Antony's fleet was destroyed. Cleopatra fled to Alexandria, the city where her story had begun and where it would now end. As Octavian's armies closed in, Antony, believing Cleopatra was dead, fell on his own sword bleeding. He was carried to her, dying in her arms, whispering her name. Cleopatra wept, then made her final choice. She would not be paraded through Rome as a trophy dressed in royal gold, surrounded by her servants. She held a small basket to her chest. Inside, the asp, a sacred Egyptian cobra. One bite, and the queen slipped silently into legend. More than 2,000 years later, Cleopatra still reigns, not in temples or tombs, but in memory. To some, she was a temptress. To others, a scholar and visionary. But perhaps her true genius was simple. She understood people better than they understood themselves. Power, love, image, she mastered them all, and when the world demanded her surrender, she chose her own ending. That's what makes Cleopatra eternal. Sleep well, traveler. Dream of rivers of gold, of desert stars, and silent queens. And remember, even in a world ruled by men, one woman once ruled them all with her mind.